Turn it down!
Hey, we've got Jace with Death Proof CrossFit, and with me today is the current champion of the Lurong Living Summertime Female Open division, Drew McNair. Hello, darling. Today we are going to cover a question that was raised to us by one Brian Gibson from Thomasville in Georgia, who got in contact with us after the last video and said, hey, I got some problems with the bottom of my legs after I've done like 4 consecutive hours of double unders. Wonder why that could be. Okay, so in order to give you a little bit of lower leg love, we're going to show you first correct technique that you're looking for from your double unders and correct activation of the legs, and then we're going to show you how to get some relief from it if you've been pounding yourself. So with that, Dree's going to give us a demonstration of a few double unders, and we'll watch that, and then we'll show you the reaction afterwards that we're going to use to give you a little bit of relief from your aches and pains. All right, if you want to just turn around to the side and then give me about 10 double unders, nice and tall through the back of the head, in your own time. And relax. Good. So here's the problem with the double under. Right? This is a game of collecting maximum energy return. Right? You've got to reclaim all of that potential energy from gaining altitude, turn it back into kinetic energy, and do that with a 180-degree change in force. Okay, and you can see the stress on the bottom of her legs, and this is why the double under just hammers your calves. All of that energy is being asked to be absorbed and then immediately released plyometrically. All right, so you've been bouncing up and down on the balls of your feet for a couple hours, right? Your legs are toast. We got to do something about loosening all of those muscles up. So everything from in the bottom of the leg. But key also is to make sure that all of your sliding surfaces are indeed sliding, that nothing is sticky, and that we've got no hot spots in there. So imagine this is a foot. It's easy to do. In terms of the bone structure is almost the same, at least down this bit where the piggies are. Okay, we want to make sure that if there's any pressure on any part of the foot, that it's not responding with a loud noise that says ouch. Okay, and because if we do that, the normal response once you get that pain is to tense one of the muscles that is controlling this area, and the controls for this area are in the calf. Okay, so we're going to take care of all of this stuff, and the way that we will do that is with this device. Okay, what is right now a slightly oblate spheroid. Okay, this one is a trigger point ball. Now, I'm not normally, I'm an engineer, and I'm not normally a fan of taking something as absolutely fundamentally fucking simple as a round thing and trying to make it sound like you've done something for the fitness industry by rebranding it and introducing nanotechnology and sliding surface bullshit or whatever else to it. A lacrosse ball is the best tool for this job, bar none. Now, I'll give an exception to trigger point. One, because Cassidy Phillips is a pretty solid bloke and knows exactly what he's doing. Provided all kinds of people with a lot of relief. He's the top guy at trigger point. And two, if you think you're paying $120 and the full value of it is in a couple of these balls, a foam brick and what looks like a broken skateboard, that is not what you're getting. Okay, most of the value of what you're getting in a trigger point kit is in the instruction and the videos that come with it. Okay, it is the method, it is and the techniques, not the artifacts themselves. So I couldn't find a lacrosse ball. Some fucking idiot burnt my gym down. It had them all in. This was one on the last Lurong challenge, so this is one of the only possessions that I still have. So we're going to be using this. Let me show you how. All right, here are my hairy-assed hobbit-like feet. And you will notice that they are adorned with what some people would mistakenly call a sandal. It's not a sandal. It's got a back on it, and it doesn't have anything between the toes. 14 bucks from Walmart. Remember, athletes that respect themselves do not wear sandals. And if you're being chased down the high street by a tiger, and your first response is to kick your shoes off so that you can sprint, you are wearing the wrong shoes. So, here's the foot that's been heavily damaged by double unders. I'm going to put the lacrosse ball on the floor and then press down on it and get as much of your body weight on this as possible. Right? And if you can put your entire body weight on, there's a little bit of weight left on my left toes there just for balance, but if you can put most of your weight on it, you are done. Move it over a little bit to another spot and do the same thing. And continue to do this until you find a painful spot, and then continue to put your weight on it until you're finally finding that pain, that discomfort is subsiding, and you'll find when you go back to it the day after that pain has indeed completely gone. So we're completely ungluing the foot there, moving that ball all the way around the heel. And we're going to continue to move the ball all the way along the longitudinal arch of the foot to the inside, longitudinal arch of the foot to the outside, and the arch behind the ball of the foot. When you press down there, you're gonna feel that same feeling of disgustingness, like you just stood on a Lego brick. Put as much weight through that as you can. Move the ball over again. Now again, first time you do this is going to take you about 15 minutes per foot, but it's going to feel absolutely glorious. Worst time of the day for pain that would, let's call it incipient plantar fasciitis, right? It's not quite there yet, but it's coming. The worst time for this pain is first thing in the morning. You have been lying in bed, plantar flexed the entire night, tootsies pointing down, okay? And with that, your calf has been bunched up as if you're wearing a high heel. First thing in the morning, you swing those gams over the side of the bed and you ask everything to go back to normal dorsiflexion, a 90-degree angle, and it pulls on that calf. And the calf pulls back, according to Sir Isaac. The calf pulls back, it pulls on the Achilles, and boom, straight on the bottom of the heel, to which you say, ouch, okay? And that makes and so what do? You stand, and it gets better and better and better. And if it doesn't get any better, you go over to the Dr. Scholl's closet, and you pull out some weird-ass fucking shoes with this strange orthotic in it. And you say, my God, that feels more comfortable, which of course it does, because now you've taken away the challenges of your normal foot-to-planet interface, and you go about your day. The problem being that without those challenges, you are losing mobility, and you will not be able to do the things that you need to be able to do, such as squat 400 pounds. Right? And then you're going to find that you're squatting in lifters and this kind of stuff because you need to have something under your heel. And you'll say, oh, but that's just me. It's the way that I'm built. It's the way that I'm built. I need to do this. And it's like, no, you're a twat, right? You've abused your body for this fucking long, and through your ignorance, you've become a different shape, right? You are the way that you move. You will inherit these movement patterns, and they will break you down. So keep your movement patterns clean, and you're going to be pain-free, right? No joint pain, no contact point pain. That's the normal resting condition for a human, pain-free. All right, so the second thing that we're going to show you is how to roll out this whole lower leg area. All right, so remember what we're talking about here, just for those of you who want to be really specific about anatomy, is basically the CrossFitter's body is divided up into three sections. We have the foot, and then we have the dick, and then we have overhead. Now, the dick could be the ass, depending on which way that the athlete is turned around, but basically just three areas: footal region, asshole region, and overhead. Okay? So we're going to deal with the footal region. Now, the reason that we're dealing with such a ridiculous notion of these enormous pieces of anatomy is everything is joined together. Imagine that. So if we're trying to isolate muscles, boy, you had better have a really good understanding, not just of what the archetype ought to look like, but how did that athlete execute his attempt at that archetype. If they didn't get everything exact, if they were leaning over a little bit and breaking the midline, then those things that are joined together are all going to change. So we're only going to isolate as far as the footal region. So we already took a look at the base of the gams here. So what we're going to do is leg over the top, leg up. And you can do this just on your own. There's no reason why you can't do this on your own, but it's always better with the super friend. And the reason is they can give you maximum amount of treatment, okay, and not brutalize you, because guess what happens next? Right, you switch over and they do you, right? So if you're not going to be kind to them, you're not going to be effective with them, your treatment's not going to be as effective either. Now, this is that part of the show where we're particularly not safe for work, because if I start to roll her out, she's going to be fairly uncomfortable, and she is going to yell things like
fuck.
Right, and it doesn't take much. That's not a lot of pressure. I'm never going much above 2 to 4 pounds of pressure on here. So they can scream all they want. You'll notice that we're out here in the front yard with the neighbors listening and all that kind of shit. I don't really care. But the word I do not want to hear is safe word.
Brisket.
Brisket, right? Safe word is brisket. Okay? Anything, what do you want? Go where? So what we're going to do is treat the entire area down here, right down to the tip of the Achilles. We're going to go easy on the Achilles. And then as we go further up, basically we just want to scan the entire area. It doesn't matter if you go from bottom to top. It doesn't matter if you go from left to right. We're covering the entire area. My preference is to start at the top and work some looseness in before we start hammering at the Achilles. That's just a personal preference. So what I'm going to do is just hold the leg in place and rotate the bar down, and I'm looking for indications in her face of severe discomfort. So you can just sit up just a little bit so that the camera can see you grimacing in pain. I'm going to rock from left to right, and we can see there's just a little bit of a kink at the side of her mouth, and an eyebrow goes up, right? She's not quite giving me the crazy horse eye, but it's going to get a little more uncomfortable. So side to side, if you're feeling something that feels like a big old thick guitar string, just remember that shouldn't be there. All right, not at this, not here. Down here it's the Achilles tendon, but up here you should not be feeling anything that seems like a big long line of gristle. So what you do is you hammer it until it's gone. Roll down, rocking side to side. You can always work side to side and roll backwards and forwards. Right, that'll do it as well. Remember, just 2 to 4 pounds of pressure. If you grab here and then wrench downwards, you might dislocate the knee. So we don't want that. Right, so rocking backwards and forwards, making sure we go fully internal when you've gotten this big fleshy piece of the calf here. Right, and we can see that we're starting to get her. She's had a bunch of double and some pretty hard work recently. Right, just finished the Lurong competition, just finished long trail runs out in Terre Haute at Griffin Park. So we're expecting to see a lot of action here in the bottom. And remember, all of these muscles that you're using in your double unders are transferring their work when you do run, right? And the same principles apply. We want universal motor patterns applied universally. So if it's good enough for your double unders and jumping rope, it's good enough for your running technique. Yeah, and now we're starting to see some lines on the forehead, right? The Botox ain't gonna cure, and they're only temporary, so it's not too bad. Roll into the inside. Ooh, little kick there, right? Still not that much pressure, but we still haven't got any brisket going on. I'm gonna cut this short right the way down to the Achilles, and here just a little bit of backwards and forwards, and I prefer to roll this. You may want to check to see if there's any tacking of the skin, right, in between the mosquito bites. Tacking of the skin there, make sure it's loose and it's moving around, floating over the top of the Achilles. Right, both legs. The first time you do this, if you're in discomfort, could take you at least 10 minutes per leg, could take you 15 a leg. Ideally, if you're on top of your maintenance, you're looking at about 2 minutes per leg, 4 minutes maximum per day for normal maintenance. Shouldn't take you much longer than that. So how often do you need to do this stuff? Well, you know the old answer, you should be mobilizing every day. But here's the thing. Anytime you make heavy contact with the planet is going to win. You're going to come off worse. You're going to need to do some maintenance. The really tough thing about double unders is it's the choreography, right? It's a neuromuscular challenge. It is a skill. And like all skills, you should practice it most effectively when you are not fatigued. It requires you to hold excellent position. And it's neurologically challenging. It's mentally challenging too, and it can become very frustrating. So don't practice to the point where you know that your exit strategy is going to involve throwing your jump rope up into the roof. Okay, instead, use it as a warm-up technique. Do some double unders as part of your workout warm-up. Okay, neuromuscular warm-up is done at the beginning of a workout. So take a couple of minutes at the start of your workout and literally do a couple of minutes. Don't do any more than that, right? 2 minutes of double unders, ensuring perfect technique will mean that every time you pick up a rope, your tendency will be to do excellent double unders. Start from a prayer book position. Start with the rope on the floor. Every opportunity you've got to start double unders from a competition position means that you will be better in competition, because every time you do a double under, it involves you jumping into a heart-shaped loop, picking the rope up, and starting on your first double under immediately without doing any singles. You get that down, and you're going to get efficient. Okay? And that's one of the 3 tenets of CrossFit. Efficacy, efficiency, safety. Right? Roll all of those 3 in together, you've got yourself a good workout. So do these skill sessions at the start of the workout, no more than 2 minutes. And remember, if you've got RX jump ropes coming out of your box in order to give you a clinic on this kind of stuff, do not expect to walk correctly for about 3 days afterwards, especially if you're over 35. That is just the way that it is. And don't worry when everything hurts. After that period of time, it's supposed to. Okay? Nobody comes away from torture with a smile on their face. Right? It's tough stuff. You're going to feel it. Alright, that's enough for today. Remember, if you're doing lower leg maintenance with your parents and you're 15 years old, don't cuss them out, okay? Just reserve it for the safe word. The safe word is brisket. That's CrossFit tradition, right? Remember that. Don't change it. You got any questions? As usual, send them to the Facebook page. Insults, adulation, banter, comments on the state of my beard and my hair. I don't give a shit. Send in as many questions as you've got. Remember, I don't read them, so it won't matter what volume there is. That's not true. I will respond to all of them. If you've got something else that you want me to cover, I don't know what it would be, but hey, just send us a note. We'll cover the material, produce another video for you. We'll catch you later. Cheers.